So basically from 2.74 we went down to basically nothing. So I think a percent was worth about $5,000. So that's a big saving.
So some of the team learnings that came out at the end of the whole process were that it's with the cross-functional teams, it's very important to not sort of go into it with blinkers on. Try to sort of keep open minds and look for the clues, actually examine the data and try and find what the real cause of the problems are. Don't sort of pre-guess what you think it might be. We found that was quite useful to sort of have that open mind approach. And the other thing is that it was very important to actually have the communication between the teams. As we mentioned, we discussed it with the day shift, because we were on the afternoon shift. We came up with a consensus idea of how we wanted to do things, and that procedure, or that process, it makes sure sort of gives you guaranteed buy-in. Everyone agrees to it, everyone accepts the process, and it works a lot better that way, I think. So that was the two main things we came out with. And then we finish off a little bit more fun.
Okay, just to show that I have been listening today, I'm out of my element, I don't want to be here. And Al, get some clothes off. Not a good look, mate. Okay, the making of Ross was basically a bit of fun, and I worked with a bunch of fellas that will hang on you at every opportunity they can get. And this, apart from some TPM and a bit of fun, was about getting some back. So you only have to look at these three guys over here, the faces on them, to know what I'm talking about. Okay, so after a hard night's TPMing, we had a bit of spare time left. Ross was a valued member of our team, and he wasn't there that night. Jeff had been taking photos of different things that we'd been doing, and we thought about somehow incorporating Ross into those photos. So we decided to make a dummy Ross. We got his boots out from underneath his locker. There's a bit of a thing on afternoon shift about painting people's boots, usually while they've got them on. I'll be walking around and all of a sudden I look down and go, how did that happen? So we were always sort of on the Ross's boots. He was always an easy take, and at one stage his boots, these boots, had added our stripes on them and he didn't even know that we'd done it. So we got his boots, we got a uniform, a hairnet, and some plastic from the recycle bin, and we got to work. So as you can see, I started working by myself because I'm used to working with dummies. And it wasn't long before the others wanted to help. As soon as we got to his pants, all the women come along and wanted to lend a hand. So the ideas were rolling in thick and hard, thick and fast, about what to do in this area. So everybody was getting keen. Sharon, who's in the photo, she wasn't even with us. She was on another line and came over to lend a hand. And she was pretty keen on doing an holistic measurement, but we weren't having a bar of that. So Dave suggested using plastic off the label butt rolls to firm him up. And I'm not sure what he's talking about there, but what he's insinuating, but I was making a paper head, and I didn't know whether I'd have enough paper at that stage because Ross was a bit of a big head. So this is the new Ross lying down on a job. He always fancied himself as a fitter, and that's basically what he used to do a bit of. We had to actually take his shifter off him a lot of the time because he always wanted to tinker with something. And at that stage we thought he was looking a bit stuffed. Okay, so there's a fair bit of irony about all this. Because not long after we did this, Ross left us and went somewhere else. And I'd like to say that the harassment case hasn't gone to court yet. For that reason, we can't show you his face. For legal reasons, obviously. But we can tell you that we made a number of improvements were made. He's better looking, he's always on time, he won't talk back, you don't have to tell him things twice, he's smarter, and he won't go and leave work somewhere else. Okay, in the making of Ross there were a number of TPM ideals that we used, and these are just some of them. The team was made up of a cross-section of personnel with varying degrees of, shall we say, shit stirring. The method of the team was to find out why Ross had so much downtime. The continuous tools used were a team task list. There were photos taken of all participants, which is very lucky for me, because if I'm going down for harassment, these guys are coming with me. We've got evidence on them. Okay, there's a fair bit of conjecture about as to the ownership of Ross. The way I see it, Woody and I are both married. Dave's got a girlfriend, we think. We've never actually seen her. And Jeff's basically, he's all yours, Jeff. Sorry, we'll click this next one. As the sign says, it was a bit of fun. We did actually have a lot of fun doing it that night. And on finishing, I'd like to give you some advice. If you're going to do something stupid like this, don't do it when there's a camera around, because you might just find yourself standing in front of 100 people trying to explain yourself. And that's it. Thank you very much, and bring on the Coopers.